Hello again. In this chapter, we are going to see the faults and diagnostics in battery cells. Okay, so the first lesson is faults in battery cells, modules, and packs. In the context of battery diagnostics and troubleshooting for EV connected vehicles, detecting and resolving faults in battery cells, modules, and packs is critical for ensuring safety, performance, range, and lifetime of the vehicle. Now, as everybody would have at some point would have seen in their Facebook or WhatsApp or some forward video that vehicles catching fire automatically. Okay, so natural, and that is all because of faults in batteries and modules. So having a system which resolves the faults proactively is extremely important to ensure safety, performance, range, and lifetime. Now connected diagnostics also enable predictive maintenance, warranty protection, and fleet optimization. Okay, now talking about the EV battery hierarchy, there are first is the cell. It is the smallest energy storage unit, single electrochemical unit. Next is the module. Now this is the battery jargon I want all of you to be familiar with. Okay, so in common language we can use cell, module, pack interchangeably, but when it comes to battery, cell, module, pack have specific meanings, and I want all of you to be very clear about it. Module means group of cells, often with local sensors and protection. And when it comes to pack, it is group of modules plus HV connectors, coolings, sensors, and BMS. Now talking about the key battery diagnostic objectives, the safety monitoring, health tracking, efficiency monitoring, troubleshooting support, and predictive alerts. All these are a part of the key battery diagnostic objectives. Okay, the first is cell level faults. Individual cell anomalies are hard, hard to detect directly, but they manifest through voltage imbalance, temperature deviation, and internal resistance drift. Okay, so what are the various types of cell level faults? First cell level fault is over voltage. And to describe that further, charging above the rated maximum, for example, greater than 4.2 volts for lithium ion cell. And symptom is capacity loss, lithium plating, and safety hazard. Next is under voltage, discharging too low, for example less than 2.5 volts. And what are the symptom? Reversible damage, reduced cycle life. These are the symptoms. Now coming to the cell imbalance, one or more cells drift from group average, reduced usable capacity. And when it comes to fault type, internal short circuit. What is this internal short circuit? It means separator failure, dendrite formation. Now coming to the symptoms, rapid self-discharge, thermal risk, and high internal resistance, which high internal resistance, which include the age, the SCI growth, and the degradation. Voltage sag under load, heat generation. Now when it comes to self-discharge, high leaking current when idle, and constant SOC loss, constant state of charge loss. Now talking about the swelling. When it comes to swelling, the description is gas buildup or thermal or chemical gases which are building up or which are swelling up within the cell. Now the biggest risk is risk of pack rupture and thermal runaway. Talking about the thermal hotspot, abnormal cell heating, pack shutdown, fire risk, etc. Now talking about the detection methods, voltage sensors, passive active balancing trends, cell temperature sensors, which includes the RTD and thermistors, and cell impedance measurement, which includes the EIS and model base. So these are how the various types of cells and cell faults are detected. Now, when we come to module level faults, okay, now here we are going to see the module level faults. The module level faults include the sensor fault, the balancing circuit failure, the interconnect issues, the thermal gradient, the CAN communication faults, and internal wiring short. Now, I request all of you to pause the video and also go to the description and symptoms because reading it is going to become a bit monotonous. Okay, for example, sensor fault, temperature, voltage sensor failure, and also no reading implausible data. So I would request all of you to go through this table thoroughly. Now, what are the various types of detection methods? When it comes to detection methods, the first method is sensor diagnostics, open shot detection. Second is redundancy check, the temperature correlations. And third is CAN LIN module communication monitoring. And fourth is balancing algorithm feedback. All right. These are the various detection methods in which module level fault are detected. Now, talking about the pack level fault, these are the various types of pack level faults. HV isolation fault, contactor weld stuck, cooling system faults, over temperature, pack fuse blowout, pre-charge fault, BMS communication loss. Now this is very important. Battery management system communication loss can be very detrimental fault in a pack. Okay, state of health drift, capacity is fading, and high voltage interlock fault. So these are the various types. These are the various types of faults that are prevalent in the pack level. Now again, I request all of you to go through this description and symptoms in a very thorough manner. Okay, I request all of you with a pen and paper, note down these descriptions and symptoms so that you can have it for reference. Now, detection methods. Now, insulation resistance. When it comes when it comes to detection method, insulation resistance monitoring, high voltage contactor state monitoring, pre-charge voltage curve analysis, pack level temperature voltage analysis, pump flow, pressure sensor feedback, and SOH estimation models. Okay, state of health estimation model is an extremely common detection method. All right. So now let's go to the next slide, which is role of connected vehicle diagnostics. Now, electric vehicles with telematics and OTA capabilities can perform remote diagnostics, log transmission, and AI-based fault prediction. Now, what is the diagnostic strategy? One important diagnostic strategy of a connected vehicle is edge monitoring. And when it comes to edge monitoring, it it is nothing but real-time fault detection in BMS or VCU. Now, when it comes to telematics upload, logs anomalies to cloud server. And talking about OTA updates, it fix thresholds, update SOH and SOC algorithms. Now talking about AI predictive analysis, the description is it predicts failures before the DTC set. Even before diagnostic trouble code is displayed, it predicts the failures. Now talking about the battery cloud services, fleet-wide thermal voltage trend analysis. So this is the description of the battery cloud services. All right, now let's see the various types of DTCs and fault codes which are prevalent in the batteries, the packs, and the modules. The first DTC is P0A80. It replaces hybrid battery pack, and P1A10 cell voltage imbalance detected, and P0AFA battery thermal management fault. Now also P0A95 HV battery isolation fault, and P1C73 cell over voltage, and P1C74 cell under voltage, and P1E00 general battery control module fault, and P080A HV contactor stuck. Now I request all of you, don't worry in case you don't remember all these things by heart. Once you jump into the actual working, and you get acquainted with this DTCs on day-to-day basis, automatically these DTC faults you will learn by heart. Okay, so in case you are intimidated, don't worry. I request you not to worry at all. Once you get into the job, all these things will become learning these things and recalling these things will become your second nature. All right. So talking about the testing and troubleshooting approach. First is DTC readout. Now use UDS or OBD scan tools to pull battery related DTCs and freeze frame and logs. Analyze logs from fault timestamp. Okay. Now, cell balancing review. When there is a cell balancing problem, identify persistent rifted cells. And talking about the impedance check, the troubleshooting action is use internal model or EIS data for cell health. When it comes to pre-charge curve analysis for contactor pre-charge related faults. Now talking about the insulation measurement, check leak voltage or 500 to 1000 volt insulation tester. Talking about the coolant and the flow sensor check, verify circulation in liquid cooled systems. Now, what are the various safety considerations? Always disconnect HV battery before service disconnect. So before the service action has starts, you have to disconnect the battery, and also use HV insulated tools and PPE. Okay, personal protection equipment must be used in a mandatory manner, and respect OEM safety lockouts and interlocks, and use isolation measurements before manual repair. All right, so these are the various safety considerations that are that must be taken into consideration. So to summarize, these are the various types of faults, and I'm going to talk about the faults, the level at which it is happening, the root cause, and the detection. So first fault is the cell over voltage, the cell imbalance. Both of these fall under the cell level category, and the root cause can be overcharge, BMS failure, degradation, balancing fail, and how do you detect? With the help of voltage sensors, with the help of BMS logs, state of charge deviation, and also DTC. Now talking about the sensor failure, this is a module level failure, or it may be the root cause may be a broken wiring. Implausible signal and diagnostics. Now talking about the contactors the pack level modules, contactors welded, isolation fault, coolant leak, and SOH drift. All right. So what are the root causes? Arcing, poor control, moisture, HV wire damage, or the pump pump failure, aging and misuse. All right. Now, talking about the detection for arcing and poor control, it may be contactor feedback mismatch, and for moisture and high voltage damage, it may be IR test and DTC, and pump or pipe failure, type temperatures and low flow, and aging and misuse, model based estimation. All right. So these are the various types of faults that are happening in the battery, and these are the root causes, and also these are the detection mechanisms. Hope all of you got a clear-cut overview about the about the previously spoken topic. Thank you.